This episode is brought to you by the fabulous members of the You Run Podcast Network, all available at yourunpodcast.com.
I wouldn't want to get hurt even more. As if I was stuck in a loop.
You want to die tonight?
The dad jokes he tells sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. The passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Mark's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. But you run podcasts.
For the honor of Grayskull! I am She-Ra!
Hello and welcome to the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review. My name is Scott.
My name is Mark.
And we are the first and the original interactive horror movie review show. And I really wanted to use that because I've been catching up on He-Man and She-Ra episodes and they're fucking awesome.
I haven't seen He-Man, like any iteration or anything. I had like Castle Grayskull as a kid, like the toy, which was fucking mega. But I've never actually watched a single He-Man or She-Ra thing. Even when it started playing, then I was like, I'm sure those two are connected in some way.
Yeah, I've been
Kevin
introducing
Smith done
Jack.
one recently,
Yeah, it was. I understand why lots of people didn't like it. I enjoyed it, but yeah, I've been introducing Jack to the original He-Man and She-Ra, and we just got to the movie that they done, which is The Secret of the Sword, where they both come together. Fucking awesome! Like just reliving childhood nostalgia. Great.
I do have the Master of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren as He-Man on tape, but I've not watched it.
Oh man, well,
Should I?
go and watch,
Is that one good? Is that a good starting point for the He-Man sort of?
No, that's a good ending point.
Right.
Like, watch. I think there's like 4 series of the original He-Man. I think there's 4 of She-Ra. Watch those. Watch the movie where they come together. Then watch He-Man, Masters of the Universe, and then sit back and go, "Oh, it was all there for you. Why did you do that?"
Yeah, I mean, there's that new one coming out, isn't there? But they've done that thing what they seem to keep doing in Hollywood at the moment, where every time they make a movie based on some sort of property, Mario, Sonic. Actually, no, Mario is a bad example because that actually succeeded quite well. But like the first Sonic movie, where they do like that fish out of water thing, and instead of setting it in like their home universe that we all know and love, they bring them to Earth. And like what they did with the first 4 movie, like in the Marvel universe, which again, that's probably a bad example because I like that first 4 movie. But yeah, they just like bring them to Earth and then they're the fish out of water and got to find their way and get back to their home place. And then we get like the last 10 minutes of the really, really cool stuff set in the actual like universe where they're from. Yeah,
exactly what they done with Masters of the Universe. Took He-Man out of Eternia and plonked him in like New York City. It's like the fucking
it's just stupid. It's like we're 3 movies into the Sonic universe now, and we still haven't had like Green Hill Zone and shit like that. It's like, come on, guys. It's there for you. Do it.
I think it's coming with that. Anyway, we digress. For some reason, we've had a spike in listeners over the last week, and the spike of listeners have all come from France.
Oui. It'd be the Tash.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Speaking of Tashes, man, your beard is getting extremely big.
It's good, isn't it?
No, it's pissing me right off, man. It looks like someone stuck your head on upside down. The reason I'm so pissed off about it is I've been trying to grow this mustache for like 3 months. You haven't shaved for 2 weeks, and you look like you've been in Jumanji for about a year.
Well, yeah. At some point, I am going to trim it down, but I'm actually growing out my hair as well.
Dude, I hate you so much right now.
Anyway, wild that we have listeners in France, and believe it or not, they now make up 11% of the listeners of this show. That's how big a listenership we picked up in France, which
is wild.
Yeah, it is wild. So to our listeners across the channel, bonjour à nous, auditeurs en France, which is
How long did it take you to learn that?
a long time. Hello to our listeners in France. Anyway, this is the show where you pick the movies that we review. You get involved and share opinions in voicemails and interactive features we run. This is also the show where we don't just play to the crowd and we tell you what we really think, whether that's popular or not, which again is a reason we have voicemails, because often we say things that aren't popular and people call us up to tell us that we're very wrong. We also play weekly games. We have regular guests. We do lots of other things, and yeah, it's all good fun. Now, if this sounds like your particular brand of Kool-Aid, make sure you go to yourunpodcast.com, where you'll find links to all of our social media, this show, our true crime show, our shop, all of the other members of the You Run Podcast Network as well. If you want to be involved in the movie picks, you have to follow us on Instagram, where we're at You Run Podcast. While you're there, drop Marky Mark a follow on one of his incredible accounts too. There is VHS from the Crypt, where Mark shares his hoarding obsession with the world and makes you regret throwing away all your VHS types in the early 90s, like normal people did. There's also Reviews from the Crypt, where Mark brings you long-form reviews of both good and normally fucking shocking horror movies.
What can I say? I have a niche.
Go and check those out. If you want to get in touch, you can email us. It's yourunpodcast@gmail.com. Or if you want to leave us an audio DM, you can do that on Instagram or X or any of the other ones. And I'm also bringing back, if you want to message the show, but you're not on Instagram and you're not on X, go to TikTok and create a video and tag us. If you want to say something directly to us, create a video, tag us, and we'll drop the actual video into the episode as well. Now,
is TikTok banned in America still? Are we back on as normal in there? Just pretending it didn't happen.
We're back on. There's potential it's going to get banned again. I don't think they'll ever ban it. It's just going to be this ongoing. It'll get shut down for a day, then it'll be back. I think that's the cycle they're going to go on.
Right.
I'm sure lots of you are familiar with how the show works, but for any of you that are virgins out there, this is kind of what we do. We get you all excited with a brief synopsis of the movie. Then we get stuck in deep and sometimes hard to review a movie, sharing the best and worst bits we discovered on the film you chose us to watch. After we've satisfied your lust for the film reviewing, we hit you with a few special moves like facts, interactive features or two. We check out our voicemails and play a game before finishing you off with roundups on our all-important scores. So lube up, relax, and get ready, because we're going in. I was in a weird mood when I wrote this week's episode.
What the fuck, man?
I don't know. I was in a strange place. Like I wrote this midweek at work.
Yeah, incognito on the computer. Is that what was going on while you were thinking of this?
Well, I'm home working, so I'm sat next to Lisa, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was looking at her, feeling all lustful, and it just came out in the episode. Today we embark on a whole new adventure as we catch up with movies that we missed from the last couple of years, which is quite a few. These are movies that either failed to win polls or that me and Mark looked at and went, no, just no, we're going to miss that one. That being said, imagine your mum dies. Sad, really sad. Then you have to go live with your dad, his new wife, and a stepsister. And add to that fact that you're moving to a remote holiday resort in German Alps, run by the biggest weirdo in the world. Sounds terrible. This could be a movie all on its own. But I think we can do better. Throw in some crazy doctors, some strange bird analogies, and a monster that looks like Meryl Streep hiding herself away from the world at the end of Death Becomes Her, and you get today's movie. The hype for this movie was huge. And today, me and Mark are going to cut through the critical bullshit and just tell you exactly how it was as we look at 2024's Cuckoo. This movie got so much acclaim. And the reason I didn't watch it when it came out is the same reason I avoid every movie when it gets this kind of hype. Because it's so hyped. It's like, this is the scariest movie you'll ever see, a revolution in horror. And I don't watch movies when they do that, because 9 times out of 10, I watch it and go, meh.
Yeah.
So I waited until the hype died down. I don't know whether to spoil kind of where I am on this now.
I think we might as well, because this is going to be a bit of a heartbreaking episode for a lot of people, because this is a massively loved movie, and we've already spoke about this. We do not get it. I just don't understand the mass acclaim that this film's get. I never saw any of the sort of this is the scariest sort of movie, scariest horror movie. I don't think it ever got that reception, but people were just applauding it. And I don't know why. I mean, it's got great cast performances and the direction is pretty solid, but the writing is disgracefully bad. It is just wasted potential throughout. And it's so boring. It is so boring. The first hour of this movie sets up multiple things that have the potential to lead somewhere really, really exciting, which was why I kind of hung on with my interest in like, ooh, that's going to be cool. Ooh, that's going to be really good. And in all honesty, the payoff, it just doesn't ever come to fruition in this movie at all.
No, and I think this is arguably one of the worst movies in recent memory. This is absolute garbage. But I'm going to run through it, and both me and Mark are going to explain our reasons for telling you why we think this movie is absolute garbage. Film is subjective. Like, if you love this, great. Like, if you get really butthurt from what we're saying, like, that's what voicemails and emails are for. I've told you those at the beginning of the show. Go nuts. We meet Gretchen and her family. Gretchen's great. I'm going to say it now. Schaefer, what's her name? Schaefer, someone.
Hunter Schaefer.
Hunter Schaefer is phenomenal. Acting ability in this is another fucking level. She shows every single emotion from happy to sad to distraught to terrified, and it's all pitch fucking perfect. Her family around her are fucking dreadful. Her stepmom is the most wooden piece of shit I've ever seen in a movie. No, Gretchen.
She's really,
Be
really,
nice.
really bad. And I've seen her in something before as well, and it's like she plays like a really bimbo-y sort of like Asian side character in something like The Big Bang Theory or something like that, where do you know, like when you watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and he's like his Klingon girlfriend. I'm not just stereotyping because she's Asian too, but she plays a similar character like that in something else. And I can't for the life of me think what it is. And I just couldn't shake it the entire time I was watching this movie. I was like, oh, you're that character. But I can't pinpoint what it was. So if anybody knows what I'm referring to, let me know. Ring in and let us know for next week what it is. But I just couldn't shake it. And she's just so wooden throughout.
Yeah, really wooden. The dad's the same. The little girl who plays the sister, I think she's pretty good as a kid actor, but she's not the best. She's not up there with like the Sixth Sense kid and like Heather Rourke.
No, God no.
But she's passable. Now they're heading to this resort that the parents designed, and they're now designing another part in the German Alps. And we get sort of bits where Gretchen's sending voicemails to her mum who's died, calling her mum's phone. Which I'll be honest, that's really
we don't know she's died at the time though. Which is a good twist at the end, and that's probably the only good twist that this movie does provide, is the fact that it turns out her mum's died. But yeah, she's leaving her these voicemails saying, I want to come back, I want to come home, things aren't working here, I made a terrible decision. And you get this kind of, oh, what do you mean you've made a terrible decision? Why have you decided to leave your mum if you're so interested in being at home with her? And then obviously we find out it wasn't a decision she made. Yeah, we never found out why her mum died either.
No, we don't. And the other thing I want to ask you, when in time is this set? What time period is this movie? Because I could not fucking work it out.
Well, her headphones are wired for a start.
Yeah.
So I've got to pick somewhere between 90s and modern day, but then her bass guitar is Bluetooth to her amplifier.
Yeah.
So at the same time, I've got to think it's 2000s plus.
But then the clothing.
So I don't know. They never. Yeah.
Like the clothing, I'm like, these parents are dressed from like 1960. The car they're driving is like 1980. I'm like, when are we? When in the world actually are we now?
And I know she's a lesbian, but like she's dressed like in the most stereotypical weird way that they could possibly dress her, and it's like, why have you made her look like that?
Yeah.
like nobody physically chooses to dress like that at her age, regardless of whether she's making an emo statement or not. Like that is not a cool look.
No, it's not. We get to the resort. The creepy guy who runs the resort, he reminded me of someone else, and I couldn't shake it for the whole movie. And every time he come on screen, so when he first meets Gretchen, he does this thing where he like strokes her shoulder and then puts his arm around and strokes her other shoulder. And all that went through my head was Herbert the pervert from Family Guy.
Guess who?
I couldn't get it out of my head. And like, he was Herbert the pervert for the rest of the movie every time I saw him.
Yeah, man. I mean, the thing is, I like Dan Stevens as an actor, and he shows incredible range. Everything I've seen him do, he does such a variety of different sort of performances, and I think he's an incredible actor. And I genuinely liked him here. I just think the writing lets him down because they push him so heavily towards his James Bond-esque villain in his Super Alps mansion complex. It's just strange, man. It's just strange. I just don't get it.
It's really strange. And we also get the introduction of other characters that are, for the most part, fucking irrelevant, like her neighbor, who's the doctor, who like the bit where the guy who runs the resort's like, oh, yes, this is the doctor. She's your neighbor. She runs a special genetics lab that deals with chemicals and other diseases in the hospital that is just down the road. I'm like, do you want to spell it out anymore? Maybe like put us a neon signpost that this woman's going to be important.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you, because I don't know. So the sister, they sign to the little girl because the little girl doesn't speak, but she's not deaf. She's definitely not deaf, but they sign to her.
She's mute.
Yeah. So why do they sign when she can hear what they're saying? I don't understand. Is that a thing? Or
I think it's more just I think it's more just a thing of like, if you are mute, you can't speak, so you sign. And I think it's more just a case of people sign back to you because it's more. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I don't speak sign language. I can't. I would love to learn how to do it, and it was something I was going to try and do a few years back, but then never actually picked it up. But I would imagine more just because that's her way of communicating, that it would make sense for them to communicate back in a similar way. It's like just if somebody was bilingual and if they spoke, if I understood French and English, but then someone spoke to me in French, I wouldn't then speak back to them in English. I'd speak back to them in French. Yeah. And I think it's a similar sort of thing. They're speaking to her in sign language, so they're speaking back to her in sign language. But again, they do something later on in the movie where the little girl can speak because she phones the voicemail that she's been calling this whole time to speak to her mother and say, she's really missing you. Can you ring her back? And all the rest of it. And it's like, so you can talk, you can physically speak.
Yeah.
But then obviously it turns out she's one of these mermaid people. But like, then can the mermaid people speak? So why are they choosing not to? It's just so poorly written, man.
Are they mermaids? I thought they were birds. Like we get.
I don't know. Just like some weird little mermaid call, isn't it? That's kind of the way I took it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not being funny. We get like a 25-minute monologue where it explains that they are angry birds.
I wasn't paying attention enough for that shit.
He gets offered a job working at the resort in the reception. The guy's just weird, and like she goes to her job, and it's like she meets the other girl who works there, and it's so clunky and awkward, and like people don't talk like this. This is my problem. Like it's so like, have you lived here long? No, I have just moved in. Do you like it here? No, not really. It's literally delivered like that, and it pissed me off so bad.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's very reminiscent of like, it's very Twin Peak-esque.
Yes.
But just executed in a really poorly delivered fashion. And I think that's one of the problems that I found so much with this movie, is that it draws inspiration for so many things that they think is cool, like Twin Peaks and A24 horror movies. And it tries to replicate all these different elements, but it just never executes them properly enough to give a satisfying delivery. And it's like, I know what you're doing. I can see the vibe you're trying to deliver here, but you're not doing it right. And by not doing it right, you're compromising everything else that you're trying to interject here. And it's like there's just so many elements to this movie where they're trying to appeal to such a quirky, cool audience that it just comes across as contrived and try hard, in my opinion. I just felt so embarrassed for the filmmaker in a way. And I know that seems like such a heavy critical thing to say, but I felt embarrassed for the effort that they were putting into to be replicative of so many other things without sticking true to what they envisioned themselves. And I'm like, God, man, you this is like a mixtape of everything that people think's cool, but just not very well. It's like a karaoke mixtape of relevant modern day horror.
Yeah, it's very much like the writers watched Twin Peaks, then swallowed about 11 A24 movies, and then come up with this. And like a really good example of this is like when she's doing her first day in the job, a girl comes in and she's coughing and she's not responsive, and then she's sick on the floor, and then she leaves. And it's so much like it's just forced down your throat, like that's important. And like as soon as I saw that, the look of the character, like it goes to Gretchen, and she looks at this girl and basically goes,
That's suspicious.
like it's that level of stupidness. And
even in hindsight now, like the relevance of it as well, it's like, oh, we're going to shove down your throat that she's already been taken, and this is instant morning sickness that you're witnessing. It's like, fuck off, man. How try hard do you need to be?
yeah, and like we get the bit where obviously Gretchen works the night shift, and she's not meant to work the night shift, and her boss calls to speak to the other girl, and the boss is like, "Don't leave. I'm going to come and lock up." And Gretchen's like, "No, it's fine, it's cool. I'll lock up." So she locks up and she leaves. The boss arrives. Nothing was locked up. Like all the doors were open. Did she just get on her bike and leave?
No, she did lock up. I saw the scene where she locked up. She locked up, got on her bike and left. And then the next scene, all the doors were open. But again, it never explained any of that shit. Never told us anything. She turned off all the lights. She locked all the doors. He pulls up 30 seconds later. All the doors are open. All the lights are on.
Yeah, and like I just didn't get it. Like I'll be honest, I think it's a mistake that they're going to try and play off as contrived and planned, because there's no reason for anyone to be in there. There's no reason for anyone to break in or go there, and they don't make a big thing of it. Like he turns up and just goes in. Like he doesn't turn up and go, "Why the fuck have you left my hotel fully unlocked?" Which is what I would do. I'd go mad.
But then he plays his fucking Zelda whistle, and it's like, what? Why? What's with the Zelda whistle? Because it does nothing here in this instance.
Well, it does.
And then
it calls
them.
Who faces her on her bike.
Oh yeah, she does. She stops, doesn't she?
And I'll be honest, like this scene here, I think is really good. Like she gets on her bike and she's cycling down. You see an old woman, like literally in a trench coat with a pair of glasses, like walking. Then she's running by the side of her. And then the next thing, she's fucking chasing her down. And this I liked, but creature design...
There was a bit before. No, yeah, fucking hell, creature design just gracefully bad. There was a scene as a build-up. I don't know if you saw it. I don't know how you watched this, whether you watched it on your computer or telly or whatever. But when I watched it, like the scene as she's first riding, you see it darting behind her in the woods. I know you see a very clear scene where it's running not just behind her, but alongside her through the woods. But really subtly, when it first starts off on the bike, you see it cross the road, and then it crosses back again, almost like a Scooby-Doo when it's zigzagging through the corridor kind of thing. And you see it sort of do that in the movement in the background. And I thought that was really cool. But at that point, I hadn't seen what the reveal was. And I was like, oh, that's fucking creepy, man. What the hell is hiding in this woods? And then out pops your nan. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Like, for me, literally any other like half-assed practical effect of a creature design, be it a swamp monster, a werewolf, a dog, a cat, a fucking bird, like anything, but make it look like a creature. This is a woman in a full-length trench coat with big like 1960s stylish shades and a napkin tied around her neck. I'm like, what the fuck is this meant to be? That's not scary to me or anybody else, surely.
No, not at all. I mean, the thing is, though, like the actual speed and agility and the presence that the character has is an intimidating one, but it's compromised so much by the character design overall.
Yeah, it's just like it's a really athletic Nan. That's all it is. I do like the fact where she gets to the hospital though, and she like tries to get in, and she ends up smacking her head. The
Yeah,
practical
that's cool.
effects on her wound on her head are fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty cool. And I like that scene as well, where you know me, I've said this before. I love hospital scenes. I love Halloween 2, the whole hospital setting. I think it's the perfect horror movie setting is a hospital. And I loved when she finally arrived there and that sort of trapped and trying to get in. You get a similar vibe from The Void. The Void's a really good
Yes.
one, for example, with the police station. That's a really cool thing. I would have loved this movie to just continue throughout as being a one-night event and her just trapped in this hospital and this thing trying to get in, and more of them start coming. A little bit like Legions, where that happens over in the diner. That's really cool, man. And again, yeah, all the time I'm watching this film, I'm just sat there thinking of better ways that this could be executed.
Yeah, and like I said, the lack of explanation really annoys me. So we get this, she gets a bang on her head, she goes home, she's patched up. Her sister starts having seizures, and this is where like Gretchen's still working at the hotel, and she notices a guy sat out reading his newspaper, who later we find out is a detective, and she meets the French girl. Now, which is quite fitting because we have quite a big French listenership now.
Oui, oui, oui.
But she meets this French girl, and like again, this is not how relationships or one night stands or anything. This is not how it happens. So she checks into the hotel. She goes. She stays the night. She comes back in the morning. She's like, do you smoke? You'll come with me. And then the next thing, they're like kissing and tugging each other, and then they're like, leave with me. And they get in a car and drive off. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this does not happen. I get it, she wants to run away, but this French woman, who's probably 10 years older than her, is not just going to randomly go, hi, girl I've known for 8 seconds. I'll quite happily run away with you. Like, it's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, at this point in this movie, this is the fucking smallest bit of its problems, let's be honest.
I think we need to talk about it.
I love that soundbite.
It's awesome. The time travel element of this movie. We get a little bit earlier when she's cycling on her bike and she's like giving it all she's got to get away from that granny.
When this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you're going to see some serious shit.
And I think that's what happened. She hit 88 miles an hour, and this is where shit started going weird. There's like, how do you describe it? I described it as a time loop. So she sort of moves forward a bit. Do the car crash because that's easier. So like they have a car crash, and there's a bit where the French girl passes Gretchen a joint, and we see that, and they have a bit of dialogue, and then we see it again, and we see it again, and we see it again, as they're stuck in this never-ending loop.
Yeah.
And they do it multiple times, and we spoke about it off air. The things they time loop is the most dull shit you could possibly time loop.
Well, yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, the scene after they total the car and crash it into a field. Like, how cool would it be to Groundhog Day that scene on repeat? But the thing is, as well, like, I don't get it because she's not aware of the time loop, which makes it even duller. Because as an audience, we're just watching the same shit play over again. There's no variables to each situation. It's just the same scene playing and playing again.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't get the purpose of it. I don't get the relevance of it. It never is explained, and it never comes to fruition as why this is happening. And every time they do it, they're just doing it in dull segments of the movie that feel very underwhelming to the stuff where it would have felt more purposeful and more interesting to do it than where they do. And I don't know. I don't know. It's a very, very intriguing idea. I love the fact that it's interjected into the movie, but again, it's just poorly executed. and doesn't bring anything to the table. You could take this whole segment out and just do away with the time loop thing. I mean, this movie is an hour and 40. You take away those time repeat segments, you've got a nice tight 1 hour 90-minute movie, and nothing makes any difference. 1 hour 30-minute movie, and nothing makes any difference.
No, there's literally no difference to it. It's also like the options they had for time loops. Like they do a time loop where she's being chased by the bike and by the woman on her bike, and she turns and sees the woman, then she turns and sees the woman again, and she does it again. Like, do the time loop when she smacks her head and cuts her head open. Do the time loop then. Like later in the movie, you spoke about it off air when they push the bookshelves down. They do a time loop of her laying on the floor going, "Oh no, oh no, oh no!" Like time loop the bookshelves crushing her. But it's just, I mean, I don't get it.
I do get it. I get why they do it, and it's in a way to. My perception of it, anyway, is in order for the creature to catch up with them.
Yeah,
because the creature's still moving. Yeah, so the creature's still moving in normal time. So when Gretchen's speeding away on a bike, she's obviously a lot faster than her running. So she time loops her back, but the creature is still running in real time as she's backtracking on herself in multiple successions, giving her the chance to catch up to her, which is what I'm assuming she's doing when she's chasing after the car. And similar again, when she falls under the bookcase, it's so she can get out of the bookcase and then get to her while she's still trapped. But it doesn't explain that, and it doesn't showcase it very well on screen to the audience. And I might be completely wrong in assuming that's the reason why it's done. That's just how I perceived it, and that's only something that I've done in hindsight, having this conversation with you now, not necessarily because the movie tells me that's what it's doing.
No, it definitely doesn't tell you that. And like Gretchen's hospitalized and she breaks her arm. Like you can see the image behind us if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify. Like she proper fucks her up. She proper fucks herself up in this car crash. And her dad
throughout this movie, she's constantly getting smashed up.
Oh, massively so. Like her dad stays at the hospital with her for a couple of days, and then because her stepsister's having seizures, she's like, "Oh, I need to leave now and go and be with your sister because your stepmom's tired and needs a break." Like, just if your parents just swap, like you go look after the little kid and the stepmom comes and sits with your daughter. Surely that's how that relationship should work, not just right. Well, we've got a new young kid now and you're kind of old and unimportant, so you stay here and we're going to go look after the kid we love. Like it's awful.
And again, like they set up this family dynamic with her where they like make her out to be the problem child, but never explain what the problem is with her.
No.
You know, like they have this like weird tension, like she's done something wrong or she's the reason why the sister's mute, but they never explain why. You know, there's this resentment there from the father, there's this resentment there from the stepmother towards her, but then it never explains it and it never divulges it to us, and we're just left there like, you're either just really bad people and really bad parents, or she's done something really horrific, which has made her be all emo and grungy inside herself. But there's something missing here to fill in the plot of this story.
There's a massive chunk missing. This is where the detective comes and like accosts her, and he explains that effectively, he basically goes, "There's a monster. You're going to help me catch it. Is that cool?" And she's like, "No, I don't really want to do that." He's like, "Well, if you do, I'll take you anywhere you want to go, including back to your mum's." Like, "I don't care. I'll take you wherever you want." And she's like, "Okay, then I'll do it." And they go on this stakeout and stake out one of the huts or one of the cabins that the staff member who works in the hotel is staying in and using. The monster attacks and she uses her time loop power and kind of knocks the girl out on the bed. I've got to ask, what does she pull out from in between her legs, and does it come from where I think it comes from?
It comes from where you think it comes from. And this is a whole surrogate mother thing, isn't it? So it's like, it's her embryos that she's taking out and implanting into some other woman. So like, that's the whole thing at the end with like, it turns out that her sister is not actually her sister, and that the stepmom was just used as a surrogate to breed another one of these mermaid children. And that's the way they do it in order to keep these whole species alive, but like they never explain to us why the species themselves can't carry children, and why they don't just carry their own and bear their own children, and why they have to impregnate a human in order to carry on the lineage. Lineage. There we go. That's the one. Yeah. So like, I don't. Again, a very underdeveloped plot point that just makes no sense out of context.
No.
When this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you're gonna.
I've done that one. Didn't mean to hit that one. I apologize. Gretchen confronts her parents, which like is the only logical thing that happens in this movie. She stands in front of her parents and in front of the guy who runs the complex and basically goes, "This place is fucking weird. He's acting weird. You two are acting weird. My sister's acting weird. Like everything's really, really, really fucked up. Like what is going on? And how is this like, how are we going to sort this out?" Like, and it goes nowhere. It's a really good scene. And she's really good at like, she pinpoints like, this is what you're doing. And it's fucking odd. And it freaks me out. And I don't like it. And this is what you're doing. And it's wrong. And you fucking creepy man who owns the hotel, you're doing something dodgy. And literally after that scene, they're like, "Gretchen, go to your room." I'm like, oh.
She does punch your dad out, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, right in the face. Down you go, prick.
Yeah.
But yeah, like after this, the movie takes a wild left turn. It's been really slow up until this point. And Gretchen goes for like a nap, and like she gets like the funny twittery noise, and she has a couple of little time loops playing her guitar. And then when she comes downstairs, everybody's gone. Her family's missing. The only person who's there is the guy who runs the complex. He's like, "Okay, you're going to leave now. So you're going to write a note to your parents to say you're leaving. We're going to go to my house. I'm going to get you some money and I'm going to drive you to the train station. You're going to fuck right off."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, okay." And then it becomes this weird, like, hostage movie. Like he takes her to his house and he leads her into this back room, drained swimming pool, gasses her, and then like chucks her on a bed. I'm like, what is this movie? It's like,
but she's about to be inseminated, isn't she? She's about to be a bearer, and he's going to keep her there as his pet, so she can have another spawn of his creation. I got that part. That bit made sense to me, and that was where I was getting interested again. I was like, "Oh, this is right. Okay, cool. Now we're gonna isolate the situation. We're gonna get the movie that I want, which is her escape."
Yeah, he gives a literally Bond villain level exposition of how these creatures are an endangered species and they work the same as a cuckoo. They leave their eggs in other people's nests and let other people raise them, and then they come back and claim them when they're grown. Like it's it's like, "And this is my evil plan, and you'll never stop me."
Yeah, and if I tell you, Mr. Bond, I'll have to kill you.
Yeah, and then he does his Legend of Zelda flute trick. And this scene's cool, where you get the girl coming across the grass, and Gretchen's like jumping off the bed, breaks a bit of the bed to like stab it when it comes in, and it's getting closer. And then as she like gets ready, like she time loops, she's like, "Fuck, where's my bit of wood?" And then she jumps.
No, but she doesn't though. She doesn't notice the bit of wood's missing. That's what I'm saying. It would have been cool had she have noticed. Had she have noticed that she was in a time slip, but she didn't. She just did the same thing again. She did the same thing again. She did the same thing again, and then eventually the creature came. I was counting the time loops, and I only counted a maximum of 3 every single time. It was always 3. I don't know if it had any relevance or not, but it was always 3, and then that was it. We got to play reality out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe there's a reason. Her escape was shit as well, because she doesn't escape. It's the guy, the detective guy, who turns up, shoots the creature, who's not the granny. This is a young creature. Shoots the scientist.
That's his daughter.
Oh, is it? Oh, I missed that completely.
Yeah, that's his daughter. His wife was inseminated by the cult thing, and that was his daughter. But obviously, because he knows the situation, he's aware of what it is. He knows it's not actually his daughter. He's just been led to believe it's his daughter. He's birthed it, he's brought it up, only for it to then manifest into one of the creatures. And that's when I think he went down the rabbit hole, because he's not actually a police officer, even though he says he is at the beginning. He's not actually a police officer. I think he just uses that to get in on the situation. That's his kid. or his kid, if you will,
Yeah.
air quotes.
Okay, I missed that completely, and again,
But
probably
you should do
because
though.
it's
You should have missed that because he guns her down and has no impact or emotional ramifications to him whatsoever. And I get they're trying to showcase that he separated himself from that being the daughter that he's brought up. But if you've brought something up for the best part of 18 years, you do
yeah.
not just gun it down in cold blood and have not even a sweat thinking about it.
No, it's just bizarre, and like so. This leads to them going to the hospital because they've worked out that her sister's won and her sister's in, or no, they've not worked out her sister's won. They've worked out like her sister's in danger because she's at the hospital having a sleep study. And like all of this is just awful. Like they escape, they get to the hospital, and this is where the detective basically like, well, actually, your sister's won and I'm going to kill your sister. And she's like, no, 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 you can't, and stabs him.
Yeah.
And like she tries to save her sister while being chased by the monster, and the monster obviously wants to reclaim her sister because that's her offspring, and she's
Yes.
threatening her sister with the knife, and her sister like turns around like, the fuck are you doing, and then runs away. And that I thought was really cool. Like her sister's oblivious to what's going on. Like, why is my sister holding me at knife point to keep a strange old lady away from me? That was cool. The confusion
cool.
in that child.
Yeah, and the apology she has to make to her later on, that again is very cool. But one thing that pisses me off about this is biology. Let's just talk about biology for a little moment. Because this young offspring is Asian. She's an
Yes.
Asian child. Her stepmother is Asian, hence the look that she is Asian.
Yes.
Her real mother is white. Now, I'm not a scientist per se, but I understand the basics. That if you put a white surrogate baby inside a black mother, that baby still comes out white.
Not always. So you had an Asian surrogate, so obviously some of her DNA is gonna. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that. No, I don't think that's how it works because that is just a carrier. That is just a feeding vessel. DNA doesn't track through. The egg is already the egg from the parent, and the semen is already the semen from the dad. That's the DNA.
Yeah,
the surrogate's just a vessel. So therefore, when that baby came out, it would be a white Merrill sheep. I am losing my mind tonight. So, like for me, like why is that kid Asian?
You're right. Now I think about it, like the mum is the old granny, the dad is the very white, terrible actor.
But is the dad the white, terrible old actor though?
Well, I don't
because
know.
this is what I don't understand. Because like he hasn't had sex with her unless they put the eggs in and then he inseminates the egg after.
Yeah, I think that's how it works. So like he
right, okay.
The reason, because they.
So if he was Asian, that would make sense to me. If he was Asian, I'd buy it.
Yeah, but it's not. And like, how did you feel about how easily she took out this monster? Like the monster was. Fuck it! It didn't take much to kill the monster off.
No, what did she do? She stabbed it in the throat, which made it stop doing the wailing noise, and then it just chased her for a little bit and collapsed.
Yeah, it died. Like,
I mean, in a way, I like it because it shows that they're not invincible. Because I do like that whole Dan Stevens' character. He gets shot clean in the face. I fucking watched it 3 times. He gets shot in the face in that swimming pool bit in his mansion. But then in the next scene, he's got like a scratch on his chest as if the bullet just grazed him. I'm like, fuck you. I saw that bullet wipe your head out. But here, I do like it when a creature, especially when they're done in mass velocity like this, where you've got loads of them in the woods, even though we only actually see one in this entire movie, where you've got like a tribe of them.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of them being unstoppable. So the fact that she was easily dispensed was cool. Had they have then showed them in mass numbers later on, that's how you handle that. I think, in my opinion, is where if you can easily dispatch one, yes, you're like, oh right, these are easily dispatched. It makes that threat of the mass by numbers later on so much more impactful. But then they never do that. They never bring in like a horde of them coming out the forest towards the end as they're trying to leave or anything like that. And I'm like, again, you missed out. You could have
Yeah,
made it better, and you didn't.
and what they do, so you get a shootout between the detective and the guy who runs the what we call it, the complex. That's
Yes.
basically it's basically the complex. These two are. Bear in mind, earlier we saw the detective kill two, or shoot two people from a decent range. These guys are like 8 feet away from each other, and they're fucking stormtroopers.
Yeah,
They
it's
cannot
ridiculous,
hit.
man.
They can't hit each other, and it all culminates with them in a room. They're hid behind, like the detective hidden behind one wall. He's hid behind another, and Gretchen picks her sister up and holds her sister in front of the guy who wants to save her and puts her back to the guy who wants to kill the sister, and then like crab walks out the door. Like it's like easily either one of these could have killed the one they wanted.
But again, like, it just makes no sense because the guy who claimed to be a police officer,
Yeah,
he's just been stabbed twice by Gretchen.
yeah, and she twisted the knife, so he's bleeding out.
He's desperate to kill this daughter, this child, this creature thing. He has no fucking loyalties to Gretchen. Shoot them both. I mean, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. Okay, they do a scene where they say, oh, what was it? I can't remember. I can't remember the scene specifically, but before she comes out of the room, she has a conversation with him, and she says something like, "You'd do anything to protect so and so, so and so. You wouldn't hurt rah rah rah," which is why
Yeah.
he can't shoot her. And right, okay, that's fair enough. But still, he could have just killed her if he needed to, just to win his cause. Like, he's dying, he's on his way out. He could have just been like, "Fuck you, I don't care about you enough. Bang, kill the kid. And if you die in the process, no skin off my nose."
Yes, so be it. And I think that would have worked better. And I don't understand why they didn't go down that route. And like the other thing that annoys me in this is like the little girl now all of a sudden realizes that she has the magical power. And you get Gretchen like puts one hand over one ear, but the other is open, but she doesn't get caught in a time loop. And they manage to get out. And these two fire when the time loop's over and they kill each other. And they just walk out into the sunset, like the end. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, there's problems before that, though. I mean, we get no explanation as to why Dan Stevens has just turned around and decided to just fucking obliterate all his nurses and destroy his whole complex over one little incident. He starts burning all his fucking research. He starts lighting fires and taking out his whole complex, killing all his staff members like he's on some last-ditch fucking sail into the sunset sort of hurrah. And it's like, why? Why are you doing this over a tiny little glitch? This makes no sense to me that you're willing to just nuclear bomb, set a fucking timer countdown as if to say, like, right, you have 5 minutes to evacuate the building before we all die. It makes no sense as to why he would do that. Again, I know you mentioned she had one hand over her ear. She does do that quite frequently throughout this film, but it is actually in this final scene where the sister puts both hands over her ears before she does it, which is, again, cool. But still, I shouldn't be justifying why this movie has cool scenes and why it's logical, because it's not throughout at any point. So I don't mean to come at you for that scene in particular. But what I will say is there is one final sequence that really, really, really cool that I really liked and was the best part in the film, is as they go to leave the complex, Gretchen pushes the door and she thinks it's locked.
Yeah.
It's a double door, and she pushes the door and she thinks it's locked, and she's about to turn around as if to go back in and go get the key for the door from Dan Stevens. And then her sister just pushes the door next to it. Like, it's one door's locked, one door's open. And I really like that. I thought that, like, it's like, that's the kind of humor you should have been injecting throughout this movie, but you don't. And again, it's just fucking wasted potential, man. And I feel really bad for destroying this movie because I know so many people love it, but I just don't get why, man. I don't get why it is so heavily flawed, and not even on like it's not heavily flawed on a way where you're just nitpicking. We're not nitpicking here. This is glaringly obvious poor choices in the writing department and in the movie making aspect of the entire production, that I'm watching this and I'm looking at the Rotten Tomato scores, and I'm seeing critical reviews of the film, and I'm like, how much have you been paid to just write down on the internet what you've just put? Because I don't see what you're seeing at any point throughout this film.
No, and I'm exactly the same. Is that a good place to take a break?
I think so. I'm done with Cuckoo now.
Okay. Well, before we take a break,
Shit!
anyway, let's take a
Hi,
break.
everybody. I'm your host, Mark J. Parker, and this is Release Date Rewind.
Anniversary in cinema is a huge thing, and Release Date Rewind understand that better than anyone else, as Mark brings guests on his show to celebrate anniversaries of movies, be it 25 years, 35 years, or 40 years. Release Date Rewind is there to cover them all.
I don't go well. That's going to be a very wonderful episode with Alco the Horror Night.
Movies, TV series, video games, deep dive discussions, creator spotlights. LK the Horror Nerd brings so much to the world of horror. This is a show that covers absolutely everything you could ever want, so make sure you check them out. These shows and many more are all members of the You Run Podcast Network, available at yourunpodcast.com.
Please go out to yourunpodcast.com. Check out all of the other You Run Podcast Network members. There are so many different shows on there. There are 18 now, plus our shows. That's 21 shows across all genres, across everything you could possibly imagine. Go and click on one of them. Have a listen. You're going to find one that you really, really like. Now it's time for Mark's recommended account of the week. And I have the best soundbite while he looks for something. He's going to be really excited.
I've been married long
Whoa, is this remix? I like it. I actually wasn't finished. I got well in the zone then. I do apologise.
Okay, well, it's fine. I'll give you another one while you keep looking.
Potatoes. Hold up. Boil them, mash them, stick them in stew.
That
Okay,
one is
that's
the
what
best
you
one
get.
yet. Right. This one kind of comes with a story purely based on the fact that I've been working on a church recently, an old dilapidated church. It was a strange experience, a very gothic church. It was cool. While I was working there, they had a piano, really cool vintage looking piano. And I was saying to the guys, oh, that's fucking brilliant. It's like, oh, no, we don't use that. Like, we got a new one for the church and stuff. Like, do you want it? I was like, never thought I wanted a piano before, but I'll take it. Just for those of you who ever think of getting a piano, pianos are fucking heavy. Like, I am talking extremely heavy pianos. I'm not talking like the big grand pianos. I'm just talking about like the wooden freestanding ones that you can push against the wall.
They are
like, yeah,
4 people to move it, minimum.
Yes, me and my lad who worked for me, we moved it. There was 2 of us. We took it, we put it in the back of the van. My van felt like it was going to tip over because it was on one side of the van when I was bringing it back. The most heaviest thing I've ever lifted in my life. But we loaded the piano into the van, we brought it home, and I'm now the owner of a piano. So I'm starting to pick up a little bit. I'm trying to learn to do stuff and pick up things. I'm not Beethoven overnight, do you know what I mean? But I think the key for me to try and learn stuff is just, you know, when you can walk up and do a little tune. You can play, you're not playing a song, but you can play the Godfather theme tune for like 2 seconds or something like that. And I found this account on Instagram which sort of showcases that. So anybody who's thinking of learning piano or picking up a keyboard or is really interested in, I think it's cool to have something. Like, I play guitar and I love to play guitar. I think it's a really cool thing to have as a little sort of Zen moment to just switch off and learn something new. And I kind of trying to take the same approach with this piano, which I've just dumped in my house, which, to my surprise, my wife was actually really supportive of. So I found this account on Instagram called Key Tutorials. They mainly focus upon, I don't even know what the word is to describe it, like licks, like sort of instantly recognizable 30-second party stoppers, where if someone's like, oh, you've got a piano, do you play? You could walk up and just play like something for 30 seconds and everyone think you was a god at piano. This is that account to follow if you want to learn to do that kind of stuff. And it's Key Tutorials on Instagram. Go check them out. Give them a like, give them a follow. Let them know podcast know you sent you there. But again, I don't know. I might not continue on down this path. I have a very big piano now sitting in my house that I'm probably going to have to pursue because I don't know how else I would dispose of it, and I do not want to have to lift it out again.
But you have children. Children can now do piano lessons. That's where that goes.
Oh, dude, do you know what the biggest God blessing of this piano is? It's got like the flap down lid with a lock and a key.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, mate. Honestly, when I brought it in the first day, the instant fucking regret was like, what have I done? Because my kids are going like, slamming all the keys down. I'm like, no, don't do that, please. That's not good. So thankfully I can lock it, and then I do let them play it. I let them fuck about and prat about with the keys and stuff, you know, but like, yeah, thankfully it has a lock and a key, and I can switch it off at the wall when I need to.
That's cool. I really like that. Really like that. Facts. There are next to no facts for this, probably because people couldn't be bothered to go and find them. The name of the film alludes to the cuckoo bird, some of which are brood parasites. So basically what they do is they lay their eggs in other birds' nests, wait till the children have hatched, and then they come back and they collect them after they've been raised, which is exactly what the monster in this movie does. When this movie was first released, they released four separate posters, and many people thought this was a 4-part saga. Thankfully, it was a one and done. And that is literally it that I could find, apart from box office. So this cost them $7 million to make. I don't know how, but it did. How much money do you think it made in its box office, with all these critical, great reviews, in its box office release globally? What did it make back?
I mean, it's not fucking Marvel level territory, but I do know that this did get a good reception from hipsters. I'm going to refer to hipsters. Yep, you hipsters, you're going to be a big point in my roundup later on. I think it made its money back. I would be surprised if it didn't, based on the traction it's received online and stuff. I'm probably going to say maybe 18 million.
Yeah, this made 6.6 million. So it lost money. It lost money against its actual cost, but that doesn't include any of its marketing costs either. So this lost a ton of money. From what I've read, they've managed to recoup a lot of that with deals with streaming services and other things, but this was a flop.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen online people talking about it like it's cult status. This is not a cult status movie. And the fact that that word's been thrown around so fucking loosely pisses me off. You know, you can't just call a shit movie that hipsters are into because they think it's cool to like it cult. Like, you have to earn cult status, and this is not one of them.
No, like From Dusk Till Dawn, that is a cult classic. Pulp Fiction, that is a cult classic. Like, you can't then go, Cuckoo is a cult classic, because Cuckoo is crap. And I don't understand, like, even user reviews, not just critical reviews. That's what got me. Because normally you'll get a movie where the critics go, this is the best thing we've ever seen. It's so deep and meaningful, and we absolutely love it. So you all should too. Thank you, studio, for our £200 and all our merchandise. And then normally the public get on there and go, this is dog shit, don't watch it. But with this movie, all the public have got on there and gone, it's so deep and meaningful. This is wonderful. Like, the double meaning with the bird and the creature. I'm like, oh, what?
But that just shows where we are as a society with horror movies. You know, we've been injected with impactful movies from A24 that actually do have that purpose and do have that that well-deserved reception of people being like, wow, the undertones and the meanings that come from this film are just mind-blowing. Yes, because they're there and they're important. This doesn't provide it, but it mimics it enough for people to feel comfortable enough to jump online and tell you that it is one of those movies, and it's not. It's really, really not. And that's what's blowing my mind, is that there's so many waves of people thinking that because they're the first ones on the internet writing about it and being like, yes, the levels, the deep undertones just resonated with me on so many levels. No, No, it's not right. You're not right that because you think you're watching an A24 movie because they've got the aesthetics down to a T, but it's not. It's not that level and it's not that quality.
No, I agree. We have voicemails this week. Been a couple of weeks since we haven't had them because we were recording in advance. But hey, we've got some now. These date back a little while, so yeah, you'll work them out.
Okay, guys, you definitely earned a message from me. You can put this on your next episode. I don't care what you do with it. Listen to it on repeat, whatever. So, listening to your Red Dragon episode. Is it Red Dragon? Yeah. Never seen the movie. Edward Norton can definitely get it. He could definitely get it back then. Super hot. Loved him in American History X. Unrelated to the horror podcast. Anyhow, I was listening to, of course, the segment where you do the call-ins, and I had almost forgot I fucking called in because mom brain. And maybe I did say pretentious and used it the wrong way. My fucking bad. I'm not a scholar, okay? Maybe I used it in the wrong context. Maybe I meant asshole. I think that's probably what I meant. You know that I can't remember that you had a pup, Mark, that passed away. I am sorry. I am definitely not making fun of that. I'm not a fucking biatch. I'm not that cruel. But R.I.P. to Puppers. He's gone to dog heaven. And I really did not remember 100%. And Scott, also, I was not like coming at your fucking dog. I'm literally just saying like, you have a small dog that's the size of a cat. So whatever. And cats are self-sufficient, Mark, because they use a litter box and you don't have to train them. Yes, I understand sometimes they can walk on your shit, but not all cats do that. I've had cats and they didn't walk on my counters and shit. Like, seriously. Yes, it wasn't like I was watching them all night long to see if they were, but like, no. I had good kitty cats. Anyhow, I don't think I have anything else to say. I am just wanting to give y'all that feedback, and I'm going to finish listening to the last bit of the episode. So, yes. Okay. Bye.
There's a lot for me to dissect there. A lot for me to dissect. My dog was a he, not a he. He was a she. Heather, I thought we were friends. I thought you knew me. I thought we were close. This was a traumatic time in my life, and you weren't there for me. And that shows now more than ever.
That's harsh. That's harsh. Heather loves you, you know it. Also, this week I found a cat that both you and me can get fully on board with. Like fully on board with this cat. Are you ready?
Yeah, surely.
Thundercats!
That is the only cat.
Again, no, man, that's very coincidental that we've done that on the same episode because Thundercats was not my thing either. Same with He-Man. I never watched Thundercats.
Oh man, what is wrong with you? Like
I watched Street Sharks. Street Sharks, that was cool as shit. That was like an animal thing where it was like biker mice from Mars. Bang,
yeah,
doom.
I forget you're so much younger than me because like that's the shit my little sister was watching. And I'm like, what's this shit? You need to watch Thundercats and He-Man, you loser.
I'm watching shit like do you remember the Jackie Chan TV show cartoon? Where I had to like get the medallions and stuff. Oh, that was the shit. And there was one that was like The Mummy, not like it. It's not the same as the Mummy TV show, but there was this one where like these mummies from the museum came to life. It's kind of like a little bit of a rip off of Gargoyles, but the mummies came to life, and then like the mummies were like they had like various things and various get-ups and various like fucking Egyptian shit. But they were like, yeah. They were like defenders of the night. That was a cool show. I can't remember for the life of me what the name of that TV show was, but there was a TV show where mummies were like superheroes, and it was fucking awesome. And I used to love it. I had action figures of it and everything, but I don't know what it was called. And I'd love to go back and revisit it. So if anybody knows what I'm talking about, please let me know.
No one knows what you're talking about. Anyway,
there will be people who aren't as old as you will know and will tell me what I'm talking about. All of those people in their 30s, let me know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that hurts. It hurts a lot.
Mac, I love you and hate you both equally today.
I love Red Dragon. I always have. I thought I've not seen Manhunt. Maybe I have. I've messaged you to figure that out.
You would know if you had.
But my love for this film was immense. Now, you may want to go back and rewatch or watch Manhunt for the first time potentially, and potentially ruin my love for this movie. So I love you for the fact that I now know I need to go watch Manhunt, which was on my list, but I hate you for the fact you're potentially spoiling this great movie for me. Anyway, keep it up. Laters.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly that. Sorry, Dave. I don't mean to ruin anything for anybody when I do this podcast. That's not my intention. And for those of you, specifically tonight, who love Cuckoo, I don't mean to come at you. I just give an authentic opinion of what my thoughts and feelings are regarding a movie. And I'm on the same wave as you, Dave. I used to love Red Dragon. As I said on that episode, if you go back a year ago, before I even discovered Manhunter and before I read the book, I would have told you Red Dragon was better than Silence of the Lambs and better than Hannibal. Like, I loved that movie. I thought it was the best thing ever. Then I discovered the other stuff. I discovered Manhunter. I discovered Red Dragon. And I realized that it's a very subpar adaptation, not only of the book, but then the adaptation that came before it was so much better than what they did 10 years later. So I don't mean to take that away from you, but trust me when I say this. Take my advice. Watch Manhunter. In fact, don't watch Manhunter first. Go and read the book, because the book is the best iteration. The book is what is the pinnacle of the storytelling. So if you read the book and then you go and watch Manhunter, you will appreciate how great that adaptation of the source material is and how much of a good movie that is. And then after you've done both of those things, then go and revisit Red Dragon and tell me that I'm wrong.
Fucking hell, you just give them about a month's worth of work. Like,
no, Red Dragon's not. I did Red Dragon. I think I did like 80% of the Red Dragon book in a week's holiday in Ibiza. So it's not if you've got the time.
Okay, moving on.
I realise I'm probably not a valid source for Red Dragon because I did get the Freddie Lounge scene completely mixed up. But with the scene where you weren't sure if we were told in the movie about the abusive grandmother, mother type thing, at the scene where Will Graham's son gets taken, I thought throughout the movie we actually did have Francis Dolarhyde hearing his grandmother's voice in his head, telling her, sorry, that's my dog barking in the background, telling him that, saying horrible things to him and being abusive. Like, I have read the book, but I actually thought that's what told us that in the movie and that made the connection. I might be wrong. I think I need to watch it again. But anyway, tell me what you think.
So
who is that?
This is Kate. So Kate heard you saying that we don't get enough of the understanding that the grandmother hates him. And on the episode, I didn't argue it because I wasn't sure. So after I got that message from Kate, I went back and I watched just some clips to find out. And we actually do. There's many times when he's battling with that you hear his grandmother saying all the things that Will Graham says at the end, where she's like, "Oh, you've wet the bed, you dirty little animal." And we missed.
Do we actually?
We 100% do. I went back and checked. Go and Google it. It's like Google grandmother scenes Red Dragon.
I'm not typing Google grandmother scenes. None.
I'm Kate,
Yes. Yes.
No,
you are right.
No, I'm not.
Mark is wrong. So Heather said she was done with her messages.
Oh, wait. Mark was also talking shit about Funko Pops. Okay. So I don't collect them, but I do have a few that I did not personally buy, but I got as gifts from an ex-coworker, and they are from The Office. So I have a Dwight, a Michael Scott, and I think a Pam. I can't remember. But I don't really, and then I have an Evil Dead Funko Pop thing. But that's it. And I don't display them. But also, like Beck said in her message, y'all can't be coming at people because, some people like what they like, okay? You like this movie Red Dragon, so not everybody likes it. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people do. Okay, rant over. Goodbye.
I'll do what I want. This is my fucking show, and I'll bash on whatever I want. But sorry, Heather, that was very aggressive. I love you, really. But however, the one thing I did pick up on that message is Heather's slight stumbling on the a co-worker. Is this an ex-partner that gave you these Funko Pops, Heather? Because you sounded a little bit jarred when you was like, a co-worker gave me these.
Coming soon. A message from Heather explaining everything, dressing down Mark again. We're going to move on. We've got captioned this. I'll be honest, I completely forgot to drag the image in. It's the granny on her hands and knees with her glowing eyes.
Yeah.
That's the image.
After the bike chase scene, I saw it.
Yeah. So dissect that film. She promised we'd stay up all night and play dress up. And this is in reference to the girl that's laying on the bed behind. Mike, the movie misfit. I've got my goggles and my raincoat. I'm going in, which is quite apt for what happens next. And finally, Leprechaun 81, which is Imitation Dave. When you're drunk and drop a contact lens and spend half an hour looking for it and then realizing you're wearing sunglasses and you don't even wear contact lenses. You and me have been that drunk.
Dude, I have probably most of the time on this show, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Right. So we've had some real lackluster games, and I apologize. Like, creating games is one of the hardest things to do on this show. It takes so much time and effort to find something that works for audio and sometimes video, and also something that is engaging and that you can all play along with. And sometimes they get repetitive. But I come up with something completely fucking new. It's called Guess the Character. It's really simple. So Mark's going to get a timer of 60 seconds. And in those 60 seconds, he can ask me any yes-no question he wants. He can ask me, was this character popular in the 80s? Are they popular now? Did their movie come out in the 90s? Do they have a weapon? Are they a human? Are they a dog? Like, whatever he wants for 60 seconds.
Yep.
He can also guess during those 60 seconds as to what this character or who this character could be. At the end of the 60 seconds, when his timer is up, he gets one last guess to see if it's right.
But in those 60 seconds, if I get it right, do you tell me that I'm right?
Yes, I do. Yeah. If you get it right in the 60
So it's like
seconds,
that. It's that game where you stick the name on your head, but we can't do that because we're looking at each other.
Yeah, exactly that. So you get 60 seconds. So I'm going to start your timer and then you can start firing away questions. I have a character from a horror movie in my head. Your timer starts now.
Is he a slasher?
Yes, but not a he. I've given you
Stop
two
killing
there.
time. Do you say yes or no?
Yes, not a he, though.
Yeah, but that would be maybe my next question. Is she human?
No.
Is she a ghost?
No.
Is she a zombie?
No.
Is she a vampire?
No.
What the fuck? Is she... So she's not a ghost, she's not a human, she's not a vampire. Is she a dinosaur? Is she a dog? Is she a creature?
No to all of the three.
What the fuck? I don't know. Is it Cruella de Vil?
It's not. It was Megan.
Ah, dude, I don't live in a technology era. You know that.
So this is a really good game because now you can think of a character and we're going to do exactly the same and I'm going to play. So tell me when you've got your character and I'll start my timer.
I've got my character.
Okay, here we go. Is it Michael Myers?
I would love to say yes, but the answer is no.
Did their films come out in the 80s?
No.
In the 90s?
Yes.
Is it a slasher?
Yes.
Is it... Does the slasher wear a mask?
No.
Is it a male?
Yes.
Do they wear a raincoat?
No.
Do they have a hook?
Yes.
Is it Ben Willis from I Know What You Did Last Summer?
I just said he doesn't wear a raincoat.
Oh, fuck. Fuck. Do they live on Cabrini Green?
Yes.
Is it Candy Bear?
It is.
Yes.
You literally was like, does he have a raincoat? I was like, oh, he's obviously thinking, I Know What You Did Last Summer. My answer was no. It's a difficult game, man. It's a difficult game. I want to go again. Go again.
You want to do one more? Okay, let me think of another one. Right, let me think of. We'll do one more each, and then this could be a reoccurring game because I quite like this.
Yeah, I like this. This is cool. Right, go on. Go again.
Right, okay. Let me think of something. Okay.
Is it he or she, or they or them?
It's yes, no questions.
All right. Is it he?
Yes.
Is it a slasher?
Yes.
Does he wear mechanical overalls?
Yes.
Is it Michael Myers?
No, sorry,
What?
he doesn't wear mechanical. He wears overalls of a sort, but they're not mechanical ones.
Right. Okay. It's Jason Voorhees.
No.
Fuck off. Does he wear a glove?
No.
Oh, is it Art the Clown?
No.
Fuck. What's his? Oh, you can't even tell me what his weapon of choice is. Does he have a chainsaw?
No.
Why am I so bad at this game?
Do you want to take a final guess?
Yes, I do. Overalls, male. Why am I looking at all my VHS collection thinking somebody have overalls? I don't know, dude. That was hard. I don't know.
It was Chucky, and they weren't overalls, they were dungarees. They were kind of overalls.
Nah, man. You can't answer incorrectly to a question. They're not overalls. The dungarees. There's a difference.
Yeah,
There's a specification issue here.
I got tangled. Right, go on. We'll do one more. So you think of one, and we'll go again. And I hope everyone's playing along at home and hasn't just switched off.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay. Did their movie come out in the 90s?
One of them will have definitely done.
So they've got many movies.
Yes.
Are they male?
It's hard to say.
Is it Pinhead?
No. See how quick I'm answering these questions compared to you.
Yeah. Are they is it a slasher?
No, I wouldn't consider it to be.
Is it paranormal?
Nope.
Is it a monster movie?
Yes, in a sense.
Is it a vampire?
Nope.
Is it a werewolf?
Nope.
Is it a zombie?
Nope.
Do they have special powers?
Not in time. No. You can't consider that special powers. No.
I'm gonna go. I honestly don't know. Freddy Krueger.
No, I was thinking of the xenomorph.
Oh, I didn't even ask if it was an alien. Damn it. So that's our new game. If you like that, let us know, and we'll do more of those, because I think that's a good game that we can play regularly, and also saves me coming up with new games again and again and again. So if you like that, please like that. Let us know. Do you want to round this up first, or do you want me to take it?
No, I think I'll go first, just to get it out of the way, really, because I don't have a great deal to say. I say this and then I'll talk for 10 minutes. No, I don't have a great deal to say, so I'll round up first, if that's all right.
Yeah, just so you know, so because you have very long roundups, I've introduced a new thing. So when you always say, why didn't you when you listen back to the episode, or when people message you like, why didn't you stop me? Why didn't you stop me on my rant? I've got a thing now. every episode we're going to have a sound bite. If you're going too far, you're going to hear this.
You go a little faster.
Right.
So
let's go then. Let's
fire
go.
away.
Right. Now there's even added pressure. I don't like it. Right. No. Now I feel like now I feel like I have a personal timer against what I'm saying, and like I'm on a budget of what I can do. Like
you're not. But like what you do with your roundups is you round it up. You go, are you about to give it a score, and then something else pops in your head, and you go again. So
right, okay, yeah. So you're just going to cut me off at the point where I need to shut up. I get it. It's not like a timer constricted.
No.
It's just where I'm circling and just talking shit. You're like, that's enough now. Just wind it in.
Yeah, and people love your long roundups. Like they really do. And on next week's episode, you'll find out just how much they love your long roundups.
Right. No. Okay. Right. So for me, I think Hunter Schafer's fucking brilliant. Fantastic actress. She does a phenomenal job in this movie. I think Dan Stevens is fantastic as well. I've seen him in a lot of movies now, especially within the horror genre as well, something that he dips his toe into quite a lot. And everything that he does do within the genre, he has a varying degree of I'm really struggling with words. Differential. Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't think that's the right one, but that's what I'm going to go with. Characters that he's so contrasting against. Like he can be the big butch action man in the movie. He can be the weak protagonist in the movie. He's got a varied sort of. I don't fucking know. My mind's gone with words tonight. I like Dan, is my point. I like Dan. Dan does great in this movie, and it's an unusual role to see him in this movie, playing such a sort of weird Joseph Fritzl-esque character, while also playing it against such a James Bond-esque villain. I feel like he's being given free rein throughout, and he's made the best of what he can with the script he's being given. I feel like his point of direction was very limited, and he's just kind of taken it upon himself to go with it. And he did a fantastic job in juggling such a limited direction, I think. I think, to be fair, though, Tilden, who actually directed this movie, I can't remember. I don't actually know if it's a male or a female because I don't know.
It's a female who directed this movie.
Tilden's such a random name that I couldn't work out what it was who actually did it. But she's a really good director. Like this movie looks really good. The cinematography is fantastic, and the stuff with the actual rewind scenes themselves, even though we've picked them apart for what they are, they're actually shot incredibly well. It's just limiting in terms of content, but like stuff like that is perfectly executed, along with just like that scene that we spoke about earlier, where you've got the argument between the mum, the stepmom, the dad, and Dan Stevens, where she's just losing her shit and be like, "This is just fucking weird." That scene is incredibly directed. Like it's such a cool scene. But she chose to write this movie herself, and I think fair play to her for giving it the go. But there's so many lacking elements throughout her script that I feel like a second scan over from somebody else or a co-writer would have probably amplified this movie to what so many people are calling it to be as it is at the moment, which is cult status, the best thing that's come out of 2024. It had that potential, and that's what's disappointing about this movie overall. It's like it did have it, but her script alone is what compromised so many of those elements that we would have been sat here right now saying, yes, this was brilliant, that was brilliant, that was so well done. The direction's great, the cast is great, the soundtrack's great, the score's great, but you let it down by her script. And I think the actual idea of it and the through point of it and what she was pushing towards is a really good concept. But she didn't have the ability to flesh it out enough. Or she thought too much that the audience would be able to fill in those pieces for her, that she didn't need to put them in. And again, that just kind of comes down to that whole misconstrued element of tonal displacement, where You've taken so many things from other movies and so many elements that people are like, this is cool, this is cool. It's like, you don't need to explain the movie. The audience will put it together. The audience will get the message, which does work when you have, like, Midsummer. Midsummer, I'm not a big fan of Midsummer. It wasn't my cup of tea.
Hate it.
But for me, in terms of undertones and suggestibility, that movie executes it flawlessly. I think it does a really good job of not explaining it, but having the audience pull it together themselves. And I think this is the kind of thing she was trying to do here with this script, but there wasn't enough there around it for the audience to do that in such a comprehensible way.
No.
So for me, this movie failed on many, many elements. It succeeded in quite a lot. And I think that's the biggest problem of it, is because as a glossy effect, as an overall aesthetic of a movie, it visually looks fantastic. It's represented well by its cast. And I think it blindsides a lot of people into thinking this movie is something more than it actually is. And that's when I came at the hipsters earlier on in this roundup. I think this is a movie that's come out where people are expected to think it's cool. They're expected to think that it's a great movie, and if you don't understand it or you don't get it, you're not in the clique. You're not cool. You don't get movies, man. You don't get film if you don't understand Cuckoo.
Yeah, it's very much that. This is very much the vibe.
It's very much the vibe that I've seen on the internet as well, and it's like, you're wrong. You're wrong. The movie might have marketed it that way. The initial reactions out of festivals might have made you think that you were going in for something that was going to be spectacular to you, and you've just ridden the tailcoats of expectations, and you've actually seen it yourself and got to the point where you daren't turn around on your initial opinion, and you've just stayed in that lane. And I think that's something that's happening so much in horror movies these days, is you get those initial Fright Fest and Sundance Film Festival reactions where people are like, this is the best thing ever. And people are so scared to turn around and say, actually, no, I watched that, and that's not what you told me it was going to be. So we're either not watching the same movie, or you're being paid to tell me something so that everybody else jumps on board with it. And I feel like this is one of those movies that falls into that category very, very, very easily, where, like, the initial screenings, the initial reactions, people have gone and watched it, and they might have enjoyed it. The select group of people who saw it first time around might have seen it and might have liked it. I follow a lot of YouTubers who review horror movies and stuff like that. They came out and they've all told me that this was one of the best movies of 2024. I hate naming names because I'm not that kind of guy, but Cody Leach, I don't know if many of you follow Cody Leach on YouTube. He's one of the YouTubers that I do follow. He went to one of these many festivals when Cuckoo came out last year, and he was one of the first people to come up like, Cuckoo's the best thing since sliced bread. Love Cuckoo, great movie, one of the best experiences I've ever had. So I had initial expectations myself. And I'm a big fan of Cody Leach, and I wouldn't want to go against the grain if he told me something's good, and then I go in and watch it, and I'm like, no. So I can understand why people fall into that bracket of being like, but he said it's great, so he must have seen something that I didn't see. So therefore, if I turn around and say I didn't like it, does that compromise my opinion? Does that compromise my value as an input because I've maybe missed it? So people tend to then follow the flow of the river and be like, well, he said it was great, so I must say it's great as well. And I feel like this is one of those movies where everybody's just started off on such a high with it. They've given it such a reception that now it's sort of filtered down throughout the grain that people are so scared to go against it later on in the day. And for me, I'm not one of those people. I'm going to tell you right now, this failed on many levels. The writing is one of the most atrocious efforts I've seen. It tried so hard to fall into so many categories and brackets that it lost its own personality. I've amplified what I think is good about the movie. I think the cast is great. I think the direction's right. I'm done. I'm at the end. I think the cast is great, and I think the direction's great. But they're what my score is going to be based on. It's those elements which is going to elevate the actual overall score. So it's going to get a 2 out of 5 for me. And that's because I don't want to downgrade it too wholeheartedly, because it is a bad movie. I won't watch it again, but I think it's worth going to see the performances alone and seeing what the potential is within the director who's made this movie. Just have low expectations going in.
This movie's not great. Like, the hype would lead you to believe this is the fucking best thing in the world, and it's not. Hunter Schafer is an incredible young actress, and the performance she gives in this is nothing short of phenomenal. I'm calling it now. One day in the not too distant future, she is going to hold an Oscar in her hand. She is that good of an actress. Minus Dan, whatever his name is, the rest of the cast, Dan Stevens, minus him, the rest of the cast are diabolical. They're like they picked them out of a gas station while they were going to shoot this film. None of them are believable. The dialogue is clunky. The expedition dumps that we get throughout are like, spread the shit out across the movie. Don't just give me like a Bond villain. This is my plan, and this is. I don't want that. Like, drip. The way movies like this work is when they drip feed it to you. They drip feed it to you, and you put all the shit together yourself. And in this movie, they just expedition dump a couple of times, and I don't like it. The creature design is atrocious. Like, I've never been scared of an old lady. Like, not really scared of it. There's creepy old lady. Like, old people work as scary. Like, Pearl is scary. The granny from Legion is fucking terrifying. But the granny in this is not scary in the slightest because of the way they've dressed her. And it just didn't do anything. Like, the whole time loop thing was cool, but it was underutilized and not explained properly. The end shootout with the scientist is just laughable, where they're 2 feet away, like unloading round after round after round and reloading. And like, they didn't even get like, when you see the bullets hit walls near them, they're like 3 foot away from the person they're aiming at. It's dreadful. The other thing, I watched this movie 3 days ago. I had to rewatch it today because when I went to put the episode together, to put bullet point notes together, because I watch every movie we do each week, I watch twice. But when I went to do bullet point notes, I couldn't even get started because I couldn't fucking remember anything. It's instantly forgettable. Like, after this movie was finished, I'm like, okay. And like, if you asked me 10 minutes later, like, what happened, I would have struggled to go back through it with you. It was a great concept, just poorly delivered across the board. I really didn't enjoy this. It's one of the first movies I've considered turning off because I was so disinterested in it. Great performance from Hunter Schafer. Beyond that, this movie is utter garbage. It's a 1 out of 5 from me. And I'm going to end it by saying, do not believe the hype. It is all bullshit.
No, I agree. Do not believe the hype. This is why I don't watch modern day horror movies. I don't. I don't watch like new horror films that come out because it's just, the internet's just so much. It's so accessible for people to pass opinion on. And I know we do this as a podcast. This is what we do. Yeah. We come here and we talk shit each week. But like, it's so convoluted by people who are like out to gain some repetition and notoriety. They're like, oh, the Thingy said this was the best thing ever. And it's like,
do you know what it is? I'm going to use a bird analogy because this movie used a shit bird analogy. So I'm going to use a shit bird analogy. I'm going to use the mockingbird. You get the first mockingbird, which are the giant creators who get sent to the film premieres and the screenings and the film festivals, and they get shitload of free merch and they get bought drinks and they get all these special treats, and they come out and go, that was amazing. This movie is great. It's 5 stars. Then all of the creators who are a little bit less following than them go, everyone's liked it. I don't want to go against the grain because if I do, these creators have the potential to come at me. So I'm going to do the same. And then the next tier down, do the same, and so on and so on and so on. It's only when you get to the creators that are mine and your size who actually watch the movie and go, what the fuck are you idiots on about? And problem. It's this mockingbird. He made that noise. I'll make that noise because his video got shitloads of views. I want mine to get loads of views. Whereas
exactly that.
Whereas you and me are at the point where we're like, I don't care if I get views. I don't care like how many people listen, but I'm going to stay genuine to what I have to say, and people can like it or lump it.
But the thing is, like, how damaging is that as an overall sort of digestible fucking intake for people? You know, like, how bad is that? Like, I've always said, I don't like Roger Corman. I don't like Roger Corman. I think his opinions are bullshit. Yeah, but I'm actually beginning to appreciate Roger Corman as a fucking reviewer, purely based on the fact that he's actually just like, he doesn't care whether he gloats about a movie or he disses a movie or if he talks shit about a movie, because he's only speaking from personal experience. And if he liked something, he will say he liked it. He's never been one of those reviewers, even though he's had this mass acclaim and everybody always takes his word as gospel. And it's like, I've always been one of those people who's like, he shit on one of the movies that I loved. Like, he's just talked garbage. He just does it for effect. He actually doesn't. He actually just does it because that's his personal opinion. And there's been many movies that we've reviewed on this podcast that I've come at and I've dissected and I've been like, that shit, which has had a massive cult following or mass acclaim from many people who listen to the show. And I've had taken serious flack and serious heat for it. But like, I've just stayed true to my opinion. And I'm like, it's only taken me to this point now to be like, actually, you know what? Roger Corman, he's actually just doing what he feels is.
He's just
I've just hit a point where I'm like, is Roger Corman the right actually word, or is that the guy from Trauma that I'm talking about?
Yeah, he is. You are the right guy. It's like
Robert Eggers. No, that's the guy who directed The Lighthouse. What am I talking about? Who's the fucking reviewer guy that I'm trying to talk about?
His name's on the tip of my tongue, but I know exactly who you mean. He's the guy who, like, what's his name? It's gonna bug me. We have Google available. You Google while I start doing roundups.
I can't be asked, to be honest with you, man. I don't know. Everybody else knows what we're talking about anyway.
Yeah, call in. But yeah, it turns out he's the good guy, and so are we. We are back next week with a very special episode as this show becomes 200 episodes old. Expect games, expect callbacks to the entire run of the You Run podcast. So if you've heard something on this show,
end well for me, is it?
No, they're not all bad callbacks, but like, we're going to bring back some old features. We're going to play some old games. Like, we're going to bring back some old stuff that's happened before. And we're reviewing a movie that, embarrassingly, off the air, I said to Mark, I fucking hate this movie. I hope it doesn't win the poll. Turned out I've never seen it, which, take my horror card now. I was so ashamed when I put it on and went, I haven't seen this. Oh, okay, this is all new. We're reviewing the classic movie that every horror fan across the world has seen, apart from me, The Return of the Living Dead.
Gold. Absolute gold. What an episode next week's going to be.
I'm not a fan of zombie movies. I'm saving my opinions till next week. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who does listen, everyone who does interact. Like, episode 200 is a big milestone for us, and yeah, it's going to be a very interesting, very cool episode. And if you've listened from the very beginning, there's going to, like, from the very, very beginning, I'm talking to you, Dave, talking to you, Skelly, and a couple of others. There's going to be some stuff in there that you're going to laugh your ass off, because you'll be like, oh shit, that was when they had that. That was when they done that. Oh, that was when they done that stupid thing that didn't work. Oh, they're doing it again. That's funny. And as one little teaser that I know will make Mark so happy, next week, for 1 week only, dad jokes are back.
Oh, fuck off, man.
It's 1 week only. You can handle it.
I don't know if I can. I'm living in an era right now where we were done with that shit.
Yeah, but next week it's all going to change. Everything changes.
You better bring your A game for it then.
But until then, stay classy. Have a wonderful week. Bye, guys.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.
You want to die tonight?
jokes you tell sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Mark's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. Thank you for taking us on this chilling ride, when nightmares roll free and comedy collide. With your podcast we laugh and cringe, but your content is so good we can't help but binge. You run podcasts. You run podcasts.
It's shit.